The U.S. education system has been in focus all month here on Street Smart, and today we turn to science and technology, two fields for which Dean Kamen, founder of FIRST, has been a strong advocate for more than 2 decades. Also, my partner, Carol Massar, has just come back from the Clinton Global Initiative.
Ran across town. It was not so easy because it's crazy. Also crazy, though, was your event with the kids in St. Louis earlier this year. You have these robotic competitions for kids of all ages, and it's all about really getting them into what? Science, engineering, making them interested.
We're just trying to inspire them. I know it's easy to play the blame game in our culture, in our country. It's the teachers, it's this, it's that. I think there's a much more fundamental problem. In this country, we celebrate to obsession sports and entertainment. And little kids, by the time they're 10 or 12 years old, particularly women and minorities in this country, see the only exciting careers being the NBA, the NFL, or Hollywood.
It would be exciting.
We're convincing them that there's way more jobs, way more exciting careers out there for people to learn how to think and solve problems and do science and technology.
Dean, this is your event that I went to in St. Louis, and it really was, it's like a sports event, and you have just competitions all over the place, and you are a hero to these kids. I mean, you're signing their T-shirts, they look up to you. But it was boys, girls, all different ages. I mean, big problem in our country as we look at the lack of job creation is getting kids interested in science and technology, because there are jobs in those fields.
We keep saying it's about jobs. It shouldn't be about jobs. That's setting your standards too low. You know, the Wilbur and Orville didn't set out to make jobs, and Larry and Sergey didn't set out to make jobs in this century.
It's a very good point.
It's
One
about
that is
careers.
not often brought up.
You know, you don't want to say to a kid, get a job. What, you want fries with that? We want kids to be passionate. They don't think being an NFL star is a job. It's a passion that they develop for excellence in something. And we need the next generation of kids in this country to be passionate about solving problems, being innovative, creating new companies, creating new industries. And it isn't about jobs. It's about careers. It's about leadership. It's about innovation. And kids that get involved in FIRST, with now 90,000 volunteer mentors from the tech industry, come out of that program with a whole different perspective on what's possible.
Dean, you're working there with kids all around the globe, correct?
We have 60 countries sent teams to our championship this year.
What's the difference in terms of education and getting kids interested in science and technology, maybe in other countries versus what you see in the United States? Is it better? Are they doing a better job?
That only proves, I think, it's the culture, because we spend more on education, we have more educational institutions, but the rest of the world has figured out the key to success, economic success, intellectual success, is smart kids, especially in a globally competitive environment. And what you see in the culture around the world is their kids are being told to focus like laser beams on getting smart, particularly in science and technology. And in this country, we still have an obsession with sports and entertainment as the role models, and we've got to find place in our culture to celebrate science and technology so that kids will develop that passion, because you can fix the schools any way you want. If kids don't want to buy the product, it doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter who's selling it, a great teacher. Unless kids want the product, unless they show up at school as excited about, you know, varsity algebra as ball bouncing, we're not going to get anywhere.
So it's a carrot. I mean, the robots then are a carrot to get kids interested, to get them passionate about sort of enriching themselves.
We have seen, particularly in the inner city schools where the dropout rates are terrifying, kids get involved in FIRST. They change their perspective, they change their attitude, they stay in school. I will tell you, FIRST is not about robots. These kids can't in 6 weeks become roboticists, but in 6 weeks they can develop self-confidence, they can develop serious relationships with serious adults, they can develop an understanding of what's possible for people that know how to think.
You talk about not getting kids interested in necessarily or sports and entertainment, kind of get kids off track, but there's a big entertainer, Will.i.am, who's involved with you. He had a big role when we were down there in St. Louis. I mean, what's it like to work with him? I mean, he gets really excited.
So Will.i.am and the Black Eyed Peas did the halftime show for the Super Bowl. Even the Super Bowl needs halftime show to keep it. So just before he did that show, he called me and he said, how can I help FIRST? I said, well, if you're going to do the halftime show for the Super Bowl, let that be a warm-up. Then come do a halftime show with the Black Eyed Peas and bring the rest of your friends, which he did, and let's do the halftime show for the ultimate sport. And he did. And I just got off the phone with him a half hour ago, and we're going to work on another really neat project that's going to help bring science and technology front and center to the hearts and minds of all kids in this country.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Hey, Dean, thanks so much for joining us. Pleasure having you here. Dean Kamen there. We're going to take a quick